Okay, so number 4 in my problem set for the summative was actually super easy, so I'm going to explain that real fast. S of x was my problem, and it was equal to the 7th root, I think is how it's said, of 8x. So I just defined it as S of x is equal to f of g of x, and my f of x was the 7th root, and g of x was 8x because it's bugged inside of the 7th root. So as you can see that here, I defined f of x as the 7th root of x, and we talked about earlier how like the 7th root is equal to like x to the power of whatever, like, anyways, it's just equal to this. That's what it's equal to. So it's equal to x to the power of 1 over 7. Like if I had like the cubed root, it would be x to the power of 1/3. That's just something we've generalized at this point. So I did this so I could use the power rule to solve for the answer. That's kind of why I did it, like for the derivative. So f prime x is equal to 1/7 x to the power of negative 8 over 7. And then I made that a fraction, so that way I didn't have the negative exponent. So that's 1 over 7x to the power of 8/7. And then g of x is that 8x, which is right here. So g of x is 8x, and g prime x is 8, because the x is to the power of 1, you take away the 1, and then it's just 0. So now that I have that, I can just do the simplest form of the chain rule, which is like what this whole test should have been. Oh my gosh. So I can just do like the f prime g of x times g prime x, which I didn't write in this problem because it was just so simple, I just did it. So I can do f prime, and then inside every time that it says x, which is just right here, I'm going to write g of x. So if you can see, that's what I did. I have 1 over 7 x and 7, and then it's like 8x, and then it's 8/7, like to the power. And then that's multiplied by g prime x, which is just 8, which I made over 1. So then I multiplied across, so I did 8 over 1, so like 8 times 1 is 8, and then I distributed the 7 in, which I didn't necessarily need to do, but I did anyways to make it simpler. And then my answer for the derivative was 8 over 56 x to the power of 8/7, which can be simplified even further now that I'm looking at it, because it can just be 8, it can just be like 1 over 7 x to the power of 8/7, because that like 56 is 8 times 7, as you can see right here, and since we like ended up putting this 8 on the top, it just like divides out, like having 8 over 8, like I didn't know why I didn't see that when I first did it, but that's just the derivative of s of x, because yeah, math.